Have you ever wondered, what on earth do we middle schoolers and teenagers do during summer break? With 3 months off from school, how do we keep ourselves occupied? Well, today, I'm here to answer that question. Welcome to Life According to a Middle Schooler, the show where I break down and show parents, teachers, and just adults in general life through the perspective of a middle schooler. So, what are we waiting for? Let's hop straight into it. When I was researching to write the script for this episode, I was really wondering a lot about how other teens spend their summers. Sure, I know how me and my friends choose to spend our summers, but then again, we're just a bunch of private school nerds. So I was really interested to see what people do across the board, from different countries to different age groups, and just all across the spectrum of people. So, first, I'm going to go over some things that I found from my research, and at the end, I'm going to explain what I do in my summers because I think they're a little bit different from most kids. So, let's get into some of the things that kids like to do in their summers. Of course, one of the biggest ones, unsurprisingly, is staying up late and sleeping late. It's every kid's dream to stay up later than their bedtime, watching movies, binging shows, playing video games, doing family things, or even doing things like going to a late night ball game that ends up bringing their bedtime way later in the night. Then they sleep until 9 or 10, enjoying the feeling of being well rested rather than that terrible groggy feeling that comes from waking up at 6 a.m. to go to school. In fact, a study conducted by the Wallace Foundation showed that 97% of kids look forward to staying up and sleeping late during the summertime. And hey, I can't blame them. After 180 nights of getting terrible sleep, going to bed early and after a long night of studying, and then waking up early so that you can get ready for school, it just feels good to really finally just enjoy the nice coziness of your bed for once. Second, and this one also wasn't too surprising to me, a lot of students aged 7th through 12th grades claim to enjoy spending a lot of their summer time playing video games. From phone games to computer and console games, most older kids and teens get tons of summer excitement from sitting down and indulging into a good game. Some do it for the plain enjoyment and satisfaction that comes from beating a level or the entire game, while some do it for the social experience, getting into calls with friends, meeting new people, and playing as a group. But no matter what game you play, who you play it with, and how you play it, gaming will always be one of the biggest things that we kids and teens look forward to in our few months of summer freedom. Next up, and you already know it, it's those fun summer activities in the warm weather. What is it with the warm summer weather? Right now, there's like this massive heat wave going on. It's like 95 degrees outside. It's like 85 degrees in my room where I'm recording. I've got 2 bottles of ice water next to me. See? Normally I would edit that out, but I just gotta stress the fact that it's like 95 degrees, and I'm the kind of person, unlike a lot of people, that doesn't really look forward to the heat. I actually, put me in a 28-degree winter day on a snowboard. That's where I'm happy. It's not during this excruciating heat. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Let's go back. So, yeah, fun activities in the warm summer weather. If you're a parent, you already know what I'm talking about. Beach days, bike rides, water and amusement parks, and so much more exciting activities in the summer heat. Every kid loves the feeling of jumping out of the car and running onto the hot sand of the beach, or the feeling of hopping on their bike and riding to the local ice cream shop with their family. And of course, jumping out of the car and sprinting straight up to the biggest roller coaster or the steepest water slides should be something that every kid experiences sometime in their life. Just the feeling that you can enjoy yourself, swimming in the ocean or in a lake, pedaling your bike, throwing your arms up on roller coasters and slides, and enjoying all the other summer activities that are out there just without having to worry about school or homework. It's just so amazing. And I cannot think of a better way to enjoy warm summer days than doing some of, if not all of those things. Next up, and this is the first one that was actually a bit surprising for me, food. I guess that I should have known. we teenage boys do love food. But I was just surprised because it's something that I guess I don't really think about or I ever have thought about when thinking of summer. But now that I mention it, come on, think of all the food. Corn on the cob, burgers, hot dogs, nice cold iced tea on a hot summer day, ice cream, fried chicken, barbecue food, and all the other flavors that just really represent summer. And hey, let's not forget about those awesome fruits and vegetables. Come on, let's eat healthy. You've got peaches, nectarines, oranges, plums, and literally every fruit and vegetable is so much easier to get and it's in so much more abundance in the summer. And a lot of it can be found locally sourced. So that's just another part of that food thing. There's just so many foods that represent summer. I cannot think of a good summer meal without thinking about pool parties, eating hot dogs and hamburgers straight off the grill and into my mouth, with my feet dangling in the water. Then afterward, eating ice cream cake and drinking soda. Man, just thinking about this really makes my mouth water. But, I mean, come on, food is just such a vital part of summer, especially for us kids and teenage boys. It's something that I really do look forward to when I'm thinking about those 3 months of freedom before returning to the prison we know as school. Another one, and this one is kind of a lot more obvious, is freedom. The majority of school-age kids don't really enjoy school. It's something that they're forced to do, so to speak, to get an education so that they can grow up and work a job. With the exception of me and my fellow members of the nerd community, nobody likes school. And obviously, when you leave school and you get to enjoy all the wonders that come with not having to worry about teachers and tests and homework and quizzes, you're probably going to be a little more happy than usual. So, all students look forward to that freedom from the tight restraints of school. And every year, as soon as school starts, they will yearn for the day when summer vacation comes again. Next up, and how could I forget this one? Social activities with friends. Oh wait, I know how I forgot that. Because I have no friends. Just kidding, just kidding. My parents get mad when I say negative things about myself, so for legal reasons, that's a joke. But seriously, of course, all of us kids love hanging out with friends, and we thrive from social activity because we are social animals as humans. You know, whether it's just screwing around at the mall, going to the movies, going to friends' houses, or just doing whatever. It's something that becomes so much easier to do once school is out and you don't have to work and schedule around busy homework and school clubs and all that kind of stuff. And anything you do is better with friends, and that's why so many of us kids and teens love being able to hang out with friends in the summer. So this next one may be a little less common for some people just due to expenses, but I know that there's a lot of kids and teens out there whose family can actually do it. They love going on like family vacations or just vacations and other travels in general. From road trips to camping to visiting extended family in other states to even traveling overseas. Any kid who can do it will love it. Vacations are just so much of a fun time. And getting out and having a change of scenery is so great for our health, for our mental health, for our physical health, especially after 9 straight months of nothing but looking at school walls and whiteboards. Especially with family, going places, seeing cool sights, exploring new places and their cultures, meeting new people, and everything that goes along with travel is just always so enjoyable. It is something that we should all do a few times in our life. Parents, remember, take as much advantage of those summer vacations as you possibly can, and your kids will be even more forever indebted to you as they already are. Alrighty, so I think we have a pretty good idea of all the amazing things that we kids and teens like to do on our summer breaks. Now, let's take a quick break, and I'm going to get into what I do on my summer breaks because I think it's a little bit different from most kids. But before that, here's a quick message from our sponsor, Anchor. Real quick, I just want to give a huge thanks to Anchor for sponsoring this episode. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. I'm using it right now. Let me explain. First of all, it's free. Second of all, there's all kinds of creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer.
Anchor will automatically distribute the podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and so many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. All you have to do is press a button. It's everything you need to make a podcast, all in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Welcome back to Life According to a Middle Schooler. Before the break, I talked about all of the things that we kids and teens look forward to in summer. And wow, there sure are a lot of them. Now, I want to talk a little bit about what I personally do during the summer because, well, I think I'm just a little bit different from most kids in the field of the activities that I choose to do during the summer. So, let's get right into that. So, first off, let's just walk through some of the things that are the same. Like most kids, during the summer, I enjoy doing things like staying up as late as 10:30 or 11, which is 2.5 hours later than my usual 8:30 bedtime. Then I might sleep until 10 or at least 9:30. I also enjoy gaming, but do my best to limit myself to 45 minutes per day, although sometimes I go for longer and sometimes I go for less time. A few years ago, my family might have done things like go on summer vacations, but all of that has changed since the pandemic, and we don't really do that at the moment. And of course, I do really enjoy going to state parks or the beach, or even occasionally to an amusement park. However, that's where a lot of the similarity ends. One of the first things that I actually kind of enjoy doing about summer is, well, working outside in the heat and just working. Every year, my dad and I are working on a different project, from building a stone wall to working on fixing things and upgrading stuff around the house, and this year, building an 8-foot-tall deer fence around our garden. And while most kids would probably complain about doing all this work in the hot sun, I kind of enjoy it. My dad's usually pretty good about not overworking me, and if I get tired, I can always just take a break. Some things I really enjoy doing, like driving the tractor, cutting wood, or painting, and I could do those things all day. Some things are harder and less fun, but overall, it's great to see the end result when you finish after 3 months of hard work. Another thing that I do that a lot of kids don't do as much in the summer is educate myself. I know, kind of silly that I end school so I can go right back on to my own school in the summer, and that's by my choice. But the education that I bring upon myself is a little bit different from regular school. For example, over the last month, I've been taking an engineering class run by the popular YouTube engineer Mark Rober. I've been working on multiple parts of the engineering and design process, coming up with many ideas, testing them, prototyping them, creating final products, and so much more. 2 weeks ago, me and one of my friends took a Model UN class on Zoom. It was intense, 6 hours per day, 5 days in a row, doing UN simulations and turning ourselves into delegates representing opinions that we didn't always agree with. And while this wouldn't really appeal to most kids my age as much as it does to me, I really do enjoy educating myself as a person because I know that I'm bettering myself and it really makes me feel good inside. Yet another thing that I've started doing more of during my time this summer is working actual real jobs. As of right now, I have 2 jobs, 3 if you count the podcast, but that's coming later in the episode. I currently work for a magazine called At Home New England. Link is in the description if you want to check it out, by the way. And so far, I've written 1 article for them. Along with that, I've recently taken an unpaid internship writing a bi-weekly blog articles for a nonprofit based in Seattle, Washington. Both of these jobs consume a lot of my time, and I'm constantly writing, editing, emailing my employers and coworkers, and so much more. And to be honest, I'm not really doing this for the money. If I was, I would get a summer job in something other than journalism. I'm doing this for the experience, just trying to build up my resume so that in the future, people will see all these things that I've been doing and think that I'm the person they want to hire, or I'm the person who they want to let into their school. So whenever I question why I'm working for these jobs for little to no money, I remember the fact that I'm doing this for the experience that will surely pay off in the long run. And of course, how could I not talk about this podcast? I would say that this podcast consumes at least 8 hours of my time per week. I'm constantly writing scripts, editing them, recording episodes, editing those, publishing episodes, working through multiple platforms, and all the other stuff that comes with running a podcast. For those of you who heard my last episode, that 1 hour episode that wrapped up my middle school career, that actually contained over 160 different audio clips and took me 27 hours to edit. I just spend so much time on this, and just like my jobs, I'm not really doing it for the money. I don't really make enough to do it for the money anyway. Just like these jobs, I'm doing this for the experience, to build my resume and make me a better person overall. Sure, seeing those listen and subscriber numbers makes me happy, but what really makes me happy is knowing that hopefully all of this hard work that I put into my podcast and my jobs will eventually pay off. So there you have it, folks. That's my summer, which I think is just a little bit different from that of most kids and teens. And that's where we're going to wrap up the episode. So thank you so much for listening to this episode of Life According to a Middle Schooler. Also, thank you so much for getting us to 2,650 listens. If you're listening on YouTube, please like and subscribe. It means a ton to me and it really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. Also, be sure to shoot us an email, whether it be with questions, comments, or an inquiry about a sponsorship, as well as check out our website and Instagram. And check out all our other socials, including the YouTube channel. All are linked in the description. It's so easy to find them, just scroll down. Well, that's all for today's episode. Be sure to listen to our next episode in 1 or 2 weeks, which, honestly, I have no idea what that's going to be about. Alright, I'm signing off for now. I'm Clark, and that was episode 22 of Life According to a Middle Schooler, where I talked about what summer looks like for today's kids and teens.